Good morning, and welcome to what I assume is the first of many, many events that you will attend this week. It's going to be very busy, hectic, hopefully fun. Barcelona is beautiful. Maybe I also have my slides, so it's going to be even more functional. As a few words of introduction, today I wanted to talk to you about what's kind of a key topic for both regulators but also healthcare professionals, which is the need for evidences. Often we hear about this, and over the past 10 years I've been involved with scientific dissemination, and hopefully today I will manage to convey some spark into this topic. So, gold standard, what is it? Traditionally in science, the so-called double-blind, placebo-controlled clinical trials are considered the gold standard in terms of evidences, I'm talking. So what the regulator entrusts, what ethical committee entrusts, and it's a sort of, if you will, artificial reality, but that is very rigorous, that is very meticulous, that is extremely standardized, and so this is very useful when we need to consider whether cannabis is a therapy or not. For a doctor, you just looks if there are any clinical trials done on the topic, and then takes his consideration whether to use cannabis as a therapy or not. And likewise, a regulator usually goes around on a similar aspect. This is an excerpt from a book we launched last year called Principle of Clinical Cannabinology. And what we did for this book was basically compounding in a very meticulous way, pathology by pathology, any pathology that can benefit from cannabinoids, and going through the whole literature of what's been the gold standards and making it easy for prescribers to find it there. On our point of view, if you can have clearer idea, obviously you can make more informed decisions. However, gold standards do not come without any limitations whatsoever. So they do have limitations. I guess pretty much any of us in this room, since we are all working in the industry, we all know that clinical trials, they come with really high costs. So they are only justifiable in the case of having IPs, and clearly this is hindering even further the presence of clinical trials. But then they come with even further complications. For example, in the case of cannabinoids, we may encounter something that we define as placebo bias. In other words, because the endocannabinoid system in itself is involved in the process of the placebo effect, then having a real perception of reality through clinical trials that are double-blinded, placebo-controlled, not necessarily is the perfect picture of what is going to happen the moment that I use cannabinoids with the patients. So in order to give and provide a more complete picture to a prescriber of today, we felt it was very important to also complete the so-called gold standards with also with also something a bit more tangible, which is an observation of really what happens inside the real lives of real patients. And so I see, for example, one of the doctors that we asked a contribution from, we collected contribution of case studies from doctors around the world that are working with real patients with real pathologies, and we asked them to contribute with case studies from their cases, so we could complete, the gold standard as well with what's going on in the real life of the patient. And this is an approach that is not novel in the cannabis world, because first of all, cannabis has an enormous safe therapeutic window, so people actually do use cannabis beyond the prescription, as you all know. And so these allow us and grant us the possibility to really see what's going on in the real life of people. Now, the limit of things like this is that then obviously they don't really have a strong statistical value in terms of how do I apply this to the rest of the population. So going back to the point of evidences. And this is where we decided that it makes more sense when you have a mosaic, obviously, of case studies, putting together the actual stories of the patients' lives, observing them. And this is what has been started already in this world, not just for cannabis, because a lot of other natural-based products are actually pretty perfect to be looking at what the reality is telling us. And it started to create the science, the evidences that we define real-world evidences, evidences that come from observing real life. And this is exactly what we aim to do with a partnership and collaboration with Research Smart, that is the tech company that has been supplying research tools for Project 21, one of the many most famous, I would say, in Europe, big real-world evidence studies. And this is what we continue and hopefully aim to engage you with in the next years as we start on our own set of work and research on this direction. Sorry. So imagine that from your phone, from an app, then you can simply start to contribute directly to groundbreaking research. And this is not just a vision. This is a sort of sneak peek into one of our upcoming studies, in this case on irritable bowel syndrome. Perhaps some of the more attentive observers saw that the slides I presented before were on the same similar intestinal topic. So there was a trend in there. And this partnership is allowing us, through technology, to leverage technology to allow individuals globally to participate in research, and especially to arrive to and to support a more democratic healthcare and natural-based products that are based and backed up from actual science. So this is our goal, and hopefully we will get all of your support. Here is a QR code if you'd like to check some of our work more out. And I just wish you a very, very nice day. Have your coffees and enjoy.